Ayamo. Hello and welcome to Politics on Sunday. I am Femi Akonde. The Economic Community of West African States has imposed strong sanctions on Niger Republic with an ultimatum that if the country is not returned to democratic rule within a week, the regional body will consider the use of force. Also, ECOWAS has declared Niger Republic a no-fly zone and has suspended all transactions between the regional body and Niger. This is the strongest sanctions imposed by ECOWAS on a member country in recent times, but it remains to be seen how ECOWAS will walk the talk this time around. Attention is also on President Bola Tinubu, chairperson of the Commission, as he leads the regional body through one of its most difficult times. The Senate will commence the screening of 28 ministerial nominees on Monday, but the list is still incomplete as there are 11 states without nominees. President Bola Tinubu nominated 7 women who will serve in his cabinet when it is formed. There are also 6 former lawmakers, 4 former governors, 3 serving lawmakers. Also, 3 special advisors were elevated to become ministers. After this short break, I will introduce my guests who will speak on these nominations. My guest on the program today is Senator Smart Adeyemi. He represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the 9th Assembly. Thank you for joining me on the program, sir.
It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah, let's talk about the ministerial list, which is on everyone's lips. It appears Nigerians waited for about 60 days before they finally got this list, or it was sent to the National Assembly. But waiting for this long to get a list that is not complete.
Well, I want to begin by saying that you must take into consideration that Nigeria is a very complex society, very diverse society. You must equally appreciate the track record of the President Bola Tinubu. Track record in the sense that this is a man who has been around for decades. He's been politics, right from the struggle for the enthronement of democratic rule. In fact, he personified those who fought for the enthronement of democracy in Nigeria. When you talk about those who struggle for the military to remain in barracks, you will not be in a hurry to forget the role of the president, where he was in the US, all the support they were giving, and they were on exile. So for such a man, he had quite a number of people who worked with him. He had people who believed in him. And this is a man who had a vision. He didn't stumble on being president. It was a long-term planning because he has raised men. You know, he has built connections of people. He has empowered Nigerians, irrespective of tribe or religion. So it's a man with a large army of people, and that's the problem I know this government, President Bola Tinubu, will have to cope with. In the sense that I doubt if 8 years will be enough for him to bring on board all those who join him in the struggle. So it's just the very lucky one, those who are quite very visible, that he could pick. Having said this, let me say that I believe that the team that we have, the 28 names now, they gave a lot of hope for Nigerians. Because in this list, you see men and women of substance. He made effort to have a balanced cabinet. Balanced in the sense of bringing people from nooks and corners of the country, people with diverse background, but people who have excelled, people who are competent, people who are properly educated, people who have vision, people who believe in his vision. These are the people he has taken time to bring together. Don't equally forget that in doing this, the issue of politics, partisan politics will come into being. But he has succeeded in navigating that. You can see the list of some names of some people who are not even members of the APC. But these are people who are visionary too. These are people who ordinarily should have been in APC, but for whatever reason, some of them are not in the APC. But what is required to move Nigeria forward they manifest in their track record.
Yeah.
So
but, people are saying some people agree with the list, but not in its entirety. Some people say, yes, we like the fact that technocrats and people who we have seen to have excelled in their fields are also on that list. But not everyone is satisfied with the politicians we are seeing on that list. People who have been former governors, some people who maybe are serving in the Senate and all of that. People feel that, well, maybe these people should just have been.
Well, you can see that in the list we have younger generation, young people. What he has succeeded in doing is to bring those older politicians who have performed excellently well. You see, in Nigeria, gradually, I think politics is becoming like a profession now. You have some people with a long years of service. You don't throw them away.
So
because you have their wealth, you need your wealth of experience.
We have Erufai.
Yes.
We have Badaru.
Yes, because we needed people who will implement the vision of infrastructural development of Nigeria. You want people who have gained enough experience to help to pilot the needs and the aspirations of Nigeria in empowering Nigeria, creating wealth creation, job opportunity, employment for people. So you need those kind of people. Now, if you talk about Erufai, he performed well as the governor. He performed well when he was a minister. You want to talk about Wike. Wike is a man they call Mr. Infrastructure. So these are the people that are needed. It's not because he just wanted them to be on board. You don't throw people who are doing well. Okay, why is it that in this National Assembly we came to the conclusion to increase the years of service of judges? It's because you need experienced people. You need people who have seen it all, who will guide the others who are coming up. So what Asiwaju has succeeded in doing is bringing people, younger ones, who are equally determined to see a better Nigeria, so that they can gain from those few ones that have excelled, that have performed creditably well. So it brought them on board. So to me, I think it's a good thing to have people like Wike, Erufai, the governor of Ebonyi. He did well. He built infrastructures. So you see, what Nigeria is facing today is to create an enabling environment for economic development. In doing that, you need infrastructures. People like Mr. Wale Edu from Lagos, quite a number of them. Okay, you need them on board so that they can share their experience and they can put in place those things that ought to have been done some years back, some decades back.
But this ministerial list was sent to the National Assembly without portfolios attached to it. Yes. And people are asking, how will the lawmakers be able to properly question these ministers designate to know their competencies based on their chosen fields?
When you look at the credentials of the nominee, you have an idea of their scope of understanding in the essence of their track record. And when you are so nominated, it is assumed that you must have a fair knowledge of the needs, the aspirations of Nigerians. You must have a good knowledge of the problem of this country. Let me mention some few nominees. Quite a number of them went around the whole 36 states with the president. So they were looking at not just coming to campaign, they were looking at the states of the states. They are looking at the people. They are looking at the infrastructure. They are looking at the states where they are visited. So when you do that, you have an exposure to know the problems confronting your nation. A good number of them that I have seen virtually were everywhere on campaign. Okay, so I know that in asking questions, even in the Senate, for instance, those of them who have passed through the Senate, as former non-serving senators, and including the serving senator that was nominated, it's going to take a bow. Because when you sit in the Senate, you have seen Nigeria. You have seen everything about the country, based on fact before you, based on what people are saying, based on what you read. So you have a proper idea. So that is why in the Senate, when you appear, you don't even ask questions.
So that you think that is a yardstick for determining how competent these people are because they have served in the Senate. We also have senators, lawmakers who did not do well in representing their people.
But let me just tell you, I don't know how much of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that you know, but if you take a look at when he was governor of Lagos State, he has a policy in place, an unwritten policy. He monitors the performance of his cabinet. He reshovels them. He doesn't keep them for 8 years without doing nothing. I don't want to go to certain things, but he's not the president that will leave you as a minister and you are not performing and he will keep you. Don't be surprised that some of them may not stay here in that office if they don't meet his expectation. So Asiwaju is not a man who will be sleeping. He's a working man, okay? You can see the time he has resumed. You can see the number of activities, okay? Killing the speculation about his state of health. Some people are even wondering, is this the same man we voted for? Because he had stress, he went through stress. So what I'm saying is that he's a man who is highly visionary, highly energetic, and more importantly, he said, we shouldn't pity him because he asked for the job. Yeah. The essence is that he prepared for the job. He's prepared, he has acquired enough experience, he's educated enough, he's exposed enough, he's dynamic enough to implement those policies. So if you are lucky to be so nominated as a minister and you don't perform well, you'll be making a great mistake to assume that Asiwaju will behave like any other president and will leave you for 1 year or 2 years without doing anything, or 8 years. He's going to check them out.
Yes, there are some states that do not have nominees right now in the president's ministerial list. Yeah. Your state, Kogi, is also one of it. Lagos State and a couple of other states, Kano and a few states, I think about 12 states are yet to have ministers nominated. The presidency did not also give any particular reason as to why there is no spread across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT in the ministerial list. And people are beginning to ask questions why this list is incomplete.
No, I don't think people should be worried about it. It's the provisional, constitutional provision. Every state will have a minister, but for your information, I'm not not interested in being a minister, okay? Okay, I have something ahead of me.
You are from Kogi State, and that position is still vacant.
Well, I'm not interested in being a minister. I'm in court, and I'm pursuing it. I have a vision. Yoruba says you don't chase two rats at the same time. You face what you believe in, and you face it squarely, okay? So I'm not interested in being a minister. But having said so, I am sure that this president is a man who will make sure that he gets the best to come and do the job. And the best must not disappoint him. And all the people I've seen in this 28, I'm so happy with the list. I believe that this president is going to make a difference because he had a vision while coming to office. He talked about wealth creation, he talked about employment. I went to about 25 states of the Federation, or 28 states in the campaign. And I saw him talking about the needs, the aspiration of Nigerians. So I think Nigerians should just know that it might not be too smooth because of the problems inherited, okay? But in terms of vision, in terms of determination to effect a change, in terms of expanding the economic base of our country, in terms of creating job and wealth creation, Asiwaju is not going to be found wanting because he has a track record. And in the course of campaign, we'll listen to him, we'll heard him, to see that he's passionate about what he's saying, he's determined to achieve it. In doing that, some people may feel maybe he's too much in a hurry. But this is the man who wants to achieve. He has started doing that I advocated 10 years ago in the Senate. I have them on video, on tape, that I said this must be done in order for this country to move forward. But you see, over the years, some people, they enjoyed the maladministration, the financial recklessness and misappropriation. Some people enjoyed it. But notwithstanding, I believe that Asiwaju will make a difference. I'm not in doubt.
Speaking about making a difference, a lot of people commended him when he came out to declare that subsidy is gone. Yeah. That was a departure from the past where that subsidy regime continued to fleece Nigerians of Nigeria of scarce resources. Yeah. But people did not really bargain for the hardship that came with it. Maybe the palliatives were not provided as soon as this subsidy was removed, and it has cost so much hardship. It has disrupted the national life of citizens. But now the question, we have seen palliatives being rolled out, but the impact is yet to be felt. And people are saying, how long will they wait?
Well, I think that the president is just settling down. Don't forget that for a president that came on board with so much promises and looking at the poor state of the economy recession, and looking at the huge debt on Nigeria, it will take him time to adjust. But having said so, let me say that I believe in the removal of subsidy. And I did advocate it 10 years ago, and I have it on video when I was in PDP, that we cannot continue with palliatives. At the time, I chaired the committee that was in charge of PPRA, and I know what they call round tripping. More than 3/4 of what goes into subsidy went into private accounts abroad. The ordinary man is not benefiting out of it. Yes, the ordinary man is feeling the pain of movement, But there's more to pains than movement of goods and services. The country has been stagnant. The major achievement that we have today were those things that were recorded some 15, 20 years ago. Now, what I'm saying is that there's a need to remove subsidy. But again, I think there's the need more than ever before to look at concrete steps that we touch the life of the ordinary man.
All right, Senator Smart Adeyemi, hold your thought. We'll go on a short break and then we'll return to talk about these concrete steps that will touch the life of the ordinary man. Don't go away, you're still watching Politics on Sunday. Thanks for staying with us on TVC News. You're watching Politics on Sunday, and my guest is Senator Smart Adeyemi. He represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the 9th Assembly. We're talking about the subsidy removal, the need for palliatives, and all of that. We have seen the National Economic Council roll out the plans for palliative, and now it appears the state governors will drive the process and taking a lot of burden off the federal government. But not everyone is comfortable with the state governors handling this, because some people say certain sentiments or influences might disrupt the proper handling of this initiative.
Apart from the cash benefits or support, let us look at the possibility of getting buses available for workers at all levels, okay? Because essentially, these are some of the problems. And again, it's not out of place if government look at how we can give support to banks to ensure that they relax some of the conditions that will enable the road transport workers to be able to acquire buses at a minimal interest. If you monitor the transportation sector so well that movement of goods and services are less cumbersome, then it will equally impact positively in the life of the people. Okay, by extension, they wouldn't be falling sick, so they wouldn't be going to the hospital regularly. So they will be happy to do their job. They will move easily. So transportation, that sector is very key to whatever we're going to do in terms of palliatives. Then equally is the need to increase salary of workers, wages of salary. I could hear what the NSC is saying. Government must be able to have reach an agreement in such a way that the salary increase, the wages increase will not be, equally bring negative results, in terms of inflation in the country. We could do it in such a manner that yes, there'll be inflation, but we're going to monitor the rate at which inflation will go up.
Do you think the NLC is a bit hard on this current administration, considering that the government is just about 2 months old?
No, I don't think so. The NSC is not hard. They're only speaking the minds of the workers. And by extension, our mind, because we are equally members of the Nigerian Labour Congress.
You are in the political class.
My friend Joe Ajero was in the NUJ before, was secretary, so I've discussed with him that we are still in the struggle together. Okay, that we are here doesn't mean we have forgotten the struggle. The struggle is our life, and we continue to defend the interests of workers. Having said this on a very serious note, I hold the strong view that we should involve the Nigerian Labour Congress at all levels. We should make sure that we hear their contribution, and we make sure that we carry them along. Let them believe in the palliatives. The palliative is very, very important. It's as important as removal of the subsidy. Okay, so I think that there's a need for us to have a cordial relationship with the Labour Congress in such a manner that they will believe in the step of government in bringing palliative. Palliative must not be seen as a political issue. Subsidy should go, but the palliative must be that which will touch the needs of the common man. The workers must see an improvement in terms of life being meaningful, less stress for them. If a worker is to perform optimally, then you will not allow him to suffer to get to his place of work. So he's not exhausted in getting to where he's working. It is the responsibility of government to do that. We should only look at how we're going to network the country well, which is going to be done by this administration, because there'll be enough money to embark on the rail and expand the scope of operation of the railway. And that will help to reduce the cost of movement and goods and services. I think that one thing I'm happy about is we have a president who is highly visionary. We have a president who is determined to effect a change. We have a president who is sincere in what he wants to do. And we have a president who has a lion heart. It takes a lion heart for a person to look at where the problem is and confront it. It is not to the interest of the bourgeoisies It is not to the interest of those who are making billions from the subsidy that subsidy should be removed. It is not to their interest. It is to the interest of majority of the people that subsidy should be removed so that some people do not keep on buying estate abroad at the expense of the poor. If Nigerian workers, and indeed the common man, get to know what is happening in the oil sector, in fact, they'll be clapping for the courage to say, look, subsidy should go. How come, look, when I was overseeing PPRA, it was there I heard about round tripping, where people will say, we claim that they have brought products and it will not arrive, some will arrive, half of it will deliver, half will go back. These are the things that is happening. The oil sector is corruption ridden. They have institutionalized corruption. Only a president who doesn't need money again will remove subsidy. Because the people surrounding you will not allow it to happen. Because those who are bringing crude, they're going to talk to you through your subordinates and make it impossible for you to remove it. The last administration said there was no subsidy. But under the last administration, subsidy went higher. What happened? Have we bought more vehicles in Nigeria? In the last budget we had, it's hitting about 4 point something to 5 trillion. So what is happening with it? And when you look at it, these are products, some of them are stolen to neighboring countries. We are subsidizing for Niger, for Cameroon, for Benin Republic, for Togo. That's what Nigeria is doing. We have to look at how the health sector will benefit from the subsidy. We have to look at how public schools will be rehabilitated. In some states, I will not mention state, in some states, when you go to public school, you hardly see three teachers or 4 teachers. We went to public schools. If you go to some state, you go to their hospitals and clinics, you hardly see 2 medical doctors. There's some state capital that in the last 1 year, there's no water flowing. In some state capitals in Nigeria. No pipe-borne water, portable drinking water are not available.
Yes,
so what I'm saying is that the labor must involve so that whatever is coming to each state, the Labour Congress are aware. Not to allow the poor to continue to suffer when the idea of removing subsidy is to improve the well-being of the nation, of the people. The majority should not be allowed to die.
Senator, talking about the process of improving the livelihood of the poor, it appears it has been a bit faulty from the onset, especially with the social register. Nigeria does not have a social register that really captures the poorest of the poor.
Now, let me tell you this, and I want to take this issue to the last election. In the last election, in some states, in some local government, in some senatorial district, before the introduction of the beaver, the beavers exposed a lot of lies and deceit and manipulation in elections. In some states, we discovered that the population they are claiming, they do not have it. In essence, it is possible to get accurate or fairly accurate number of the various components of Nigeria. Technologies on the ink is fast improving. This beaver, I was told, was invented by one Mr. Uwafoso in Nigeria. Now, in my state, for instance, it exposed a lot of deceit and lies. My senatorial district, before now, was said to always be the last. But when the beaver was put in place, we discovered, I've always wondered, that when I represented Kogi, including the state capital was part of my senatorial district. And people will still tell me that we are the 3rd in population. But when the beavers came, it exposed a lot of lies. I don't want to go into it. But what I'm saying in the sense is that those who are lying, those who are deceitful in this country, very, very soon, maybe in a few months to come, in a few years to come, technology will expose these things. So you now know the reality. Even the figure people claim about Nigeria, I want to contest it. I know the 36 states of Nigeria, and I know more than 2/3 of each state of Nigeria. Okay? And I can tell you that I doubt if we have that population people are claiming.
Senator, we're out of time, but before we go quickly, let's just talk about your party, maybe in 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Some people say the APC is in trouble, or the APC is, why they are saying that is following the resignation of the national chairman and the national secretary under some circumstances that, of course, are yet to be disclosed, but we are hearing that it appears they fell out with members of the NWC, some say they fell out with the president, and all of that. All is not well within the APC, you say.
Well, whatever you say about the APC, is still the most formidable political party today. it is the most formidable, and we are lucky we have a president who is a politician himself. You know when you don't have somebody who is part of you, you can easily manipulate. But there's nobody that can manipulate Asiwaju because he is the dictionary of political history of Nigeria, contemporary political history of Nigeria. Asiwaju is the dictionary. So there's no manipulation that can go on in APC. You cannot come and say you want to do gra-gra to Asiwaju. You cannot harass Asiwaju. Okay? Because the guy is formidable. And he knows the game. So when you have a president like that, there can't be trouble. Because why? He knows everybody. And he knows how to go about it. So whether these people who left, they left on a questionable character, history we expose that. Very soon we'll get to know. In Nigeria today, there's nothing you can hide. No. Okay? If they have done excellently well, we'll know. If they have not, if there are issues for them to answer, people will ask them to come and answer those questions. Right. To me, with Asiwaju, I think Nigeria can be at peace. Okay. Because he's a man who is determined, he made up his mind that he wants to rule. It's a different thing when you bring somebody who do not have the track record of politics to come and serve in a democracy, come and head a democratic government. This man has been in it for about 30 years. He has built people across this country. He has impacted lives. Okay? He's experienced enough. He knows what it takes. He has been exposed. So you can't manipulate him. The best is to just give suggestions and he listens to people. So I am not in doubt that the problem with APC is normal. After election, there could be some people who are not comfortable. Yeah. After election, there are some people who want to know more than they should know. And rightly so, in democracy, people want to see everything on the table. How much was collected for the forms? Okay. How much was spent? How much was expended for campaign? People want to know. If there are doubts, they may say, okay, can you please give us time to find out? When you are not giving, we say you are welcome back. Right. So I don't think we have a problem about that.
Okay, then. Thank you so much, Senator Smart Adeyemi, for your time on the program. Well, there you have it. All eyes and attention will now shift to the National Assembly, where ministers will be screened and their appointments confirmed as President Bola Tinubu gets set to form the Federal Executive Council. That's all on the program this week. You can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. My name is Femi Akonde. Thank you for watching.